The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. An account of the... No, that's the wrong one. Be sure to turn the page, Jim. The birth of Jesus the Messiah took place in this way. When his mother Mary had been engaged to Joseph, but before they lived together, she was found to be with child by the Holy Spirit. Her husband Joseph, being a righteous man and unwilling to expose her to public disgrace, planned to dismiss her quietly. But just when he had resolved to do this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, "Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife. For this child conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit, and she will bear a son, and you are to name him Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins." All this took place to fulfill what had been spoken by the Lord through the prophet. "Look, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call him Emmanuel," which means God is with us. When Joseph awoke from sleep, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded him. He took her to his wife, but had no marital relations with her until she had borne a son, and he named him Jesus. And this is the gospel of the Lord. Please be seated. I was going to come among you and try and share a few thoughts, but it was going to be in two parts, and it still might be. And the first part was to say a special little welcome to the children. And do thunderstorms frighten you?
They can't see them.
You can't see me. You can't hear me. Oh, you will. Look, don't worry. Unless they move and have a look at it. But there's a photo there of a thunderstorm approaching. But you probably saw one in real life the other day. Came over Sydney. Heavy thunder, lightning, darkness. Do you remember that? No? You do? Anyhow, there was one, and there's a photo of it there. So, but the point is darkness. And what dispersed darkness? Light. And that's the story of today. Jesus came in to bear light to a darkened world. Now, you're called upon to bring light into the world of your family and your friends. Every one of you. That's part of the story of Jesus. At school, are you aware of any bullying that goes on? Probably. You may see it. What should you do? Add jumping with it? Or should you be kind to that person and help that person? So kindness is part of the story of the gospel of Christmas. Okay? Now, that's your story. You have to listen quietly now to your parents' story. So it's short. "I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. For this I was born, and for this I have come into the world, to be a witness to the truth." That is enough for us to understand what we are as Christians and what Jesus has come to do. This is Jesus' mission. It's the foundation story of the New Testament. It's the completion of all the prophecies of the past in one sentence that Jesus spoke. "I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. For this I was born, and for this I have come into the world, to be a witness to the truth." Mary was the first to know from experience that God had kept his promise. By sending his son, God tells us life is holy. He tells us that each person born into this world is loved by him. He proclaims without reservation the dignity of human life. The Christmas child invites us to follow his example by loving one another and respecting that dignity. Sounds simple. Mary was turned away from the inn. The children can listen to this part too. At the time of her son's birth, because why? Why was he turned away? Why was she turned away? There was no room in the inn. Thank you, Eloise. Ironically, his birth was to proclaim that there is room in the world for loving, there is no room for hate. There is room in the world for sharing. There is no room for greed. There is room for justice, no room for privilege. There is room for compassion, no room for pride. The world is ample enough for the needs of all, too small for the greed of a few. The child Jesus invites you and me today to be still and learn how to love, how to live, and how to give, how to cherish, how to serve, how to wonder, and how to work. And he asks us to strive with all our hearts to touch the earth with soft hands, to open the clenched fist and extend the open hand, to be frugal till all are filled, to give till all have received, to be restless for others and serene with ourselves. And so remember the words of the Lord, as you did it to the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me. So he invites us to say yes to our Father in heaven, yes to our brother, yes to our sister, yes to the children of tomorrow, those who are coming after us, and children like this little baby here. Yes to our Mother Earth, and yes to the spirit of Christmas in action. And so we pause for a moment and just reflect on gathering, why we're here, what we've heard, and what we've sung and listened to. So let's stand now, and in place of the prayers of the faithful, we will have a special song, and it's been written especially by an Italian fellow over in Italy, because the Pope has declared 2025 to be a year of Jubilee, and the focus is pilgrimage of hope. We're all on a pilgrimage, but this is a special year when we try to bring hope into a world that is shattered with war, suffering, and famine. So the choir have learnt this specially, and this is for the first time that's been sung in Sydney, I think.
Like a flame, my hope is burning. May my soul arise to you. Source of life that has no ending. On life's path I trust in you. Every nation, tongue, and people find a light within your word. Scattered branch of sons and daughters find a home in your dear Son. Like a flame, my hope is burning. May my soul arise to you. Source of life that has no ending. On life's path I trust in you.
Marvelous. Thank you so much for that. Please be seated. And now we continue with the Eucharist. For those who may not be fully cognizant of